Hello, beautiful people of the fragrance community. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everyone had an amazing weekend as well as having an amazing work week. If you don't know me, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mike and I am a professional fragrance reviewer. And what I mean to convey by professional fragrance reviewer is that I buy fragrances, smell them, and give you my incredibly subjective opinions on them. If that's something that you would be interested in, I am going to encourage you to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Not only does it strengthen the YouTube algorithm, it also ensures that you're able to stay tuned in to future content that I upload. Okay, so it has been several days since I've uploaded any content. I have taken a little break to recharge my batteries. Recently, I was talking with Tyler over at Simply Fragrances, and he was just reiterating how important it was to strike that balance between consistently uploading as well as managing your work life and family life. It's for that reason that I decided to take a few days off, recharge my batteries. I even went on a day date with my fiance. If you don't know by now, I am from Austin, Texas, and the motto here is keep Austin weird. Staying on par with that course, we went to the Museum of the Weird on 6th Street in Austin, Texas.
That in fact, this carcass was the genuine carcass of some unknown form of animal or hominid.
In May of 1969, Sanderson published to the tabloid magazine Versace months.
We did also find ourselves out and about in general, as many people are on the weekends. We ended up going to a Marshall's, and I ended up walking out with the fragrance on a blind buy. I need to be completely honest with you guys. I enjoy the idea of rack store shopping for fragrances more than I actually enjoy it. The reason is that I walk into the store, go to the fragrance rack, find a fragrance that piques my interest, and then I end up pulling out my phone, looking on Fragrantica to see what the community thinks, as well as checking online vendors to compare prices. It's usually at that point that I talk myself out of it and leave the store without the fragrance. So yeah, that's what happened. Anyways, my fiance ended up coming behind me, getting the fragrance, so now I have Burberry Touch. Today I'm going to give my review, my thoughts, and initial impressions on Burberry Touch, a fragrance that is 21 years old. We have a lot of information to get through in this expert review. I'll see y'all on the other side of the intro. Okay, you guys, so Burberry Touch was a fragrance that was launched in 2000. The perfumer behind Burberry Touch is a lady named Jean-Pierre Boutois. She is the perfumer and the nose behind several notable fragrances. A few of them include Versace the Dreamer, Versace Blue Jeans, as well as Boucheron pour Homme. So Burberry Touch is classified as a woody floral musk, and in the case of Burberry Touch, what you're going to get is a heavy violet note which dominates the fragrance, and it will sit on a bed of cedarwood and white musk. Okay, so let's talk about the presentation for a bit. As it relates to the bottle itself, it does get more slender as it gets closer to the base, and you will see the batch code on the bottom. It is glass, however, the cap is super cheap, you guys. It is a fake wood grain cap, which is plastic, light. It doesn't feel good in the hand, and it does not snap into place. However, it does fit snugly in place, and this is a fragrance that you can confidently hold from the cap. No worries there, you guys. As it relates to the box, it is literally just a box. You are going to get the signature plaid print that is synonymous with the Burberry brand. These days, I keep all my boxes just in case I ever decide to resell my fragrances. I know a lot of people don't keep their boxes because it takes a lot of space. However, if you are looking to sell fragrances in the future, you will likely appeal to people a little bit more when you have the box, so take that into consideration. Okay, so for this review, I have the dry down as well as I will spray this fragrance. The atomizer is above average for the price point. The price point is going to be from $30 to $40. I'm gonna say $40 if you go retail. This bottle specifically was $39.99 at Marshall's. However, if you want to get a tester, you can get it closer to that $30 price point, but just be aware it's gonna cost from anywhere from $30 to $40 in general. I will also spray it on myself. Top notes on this fragrance will include violet, which is a fantasy note. It will include artemisia, which is a green herb, as well as oranges. The oranges are not naturally smelling. They do smell slightly synthetic. Middle notes on this fragrance include white pepper, cedarwood, and nutmeg. And the base notes include white musk, tonka bean, as well as vetiver. I do not pick up any vetiver in this fragrance. However, there is a slightly earthy component to this fragrance in terms of it being a dry fragrance. So those are the notes. Let's see what I smell and see if any of those notes convey. I will say that it smells better on skin. Just be aware that for the first 10 seconds or so, this fragrance is gonna smell like alcohol. And no, I don't mean boozy notes. I mean literally rubbing alcohol. It doesn't smell pleasant at first. Give it about 5 or 10 seconds to settle down and let the air hit it, because it's at that point that you start to smell the oranges start to peek through. Like I said, it is a slightly synthetic orange. However, it creates an aromatic brightness that is quite pleasant actually. This is a pleasant scent in general. I do feel like the citrus notes are playing a minor part in this fragrance, and they do work to merely help the fragrance transition into the lifeblood of this fragrance, into the heart notes of this fragrance. The heart notes being that violet and pepper. This fragrance is heavy in the violet, and if you like violet fragrances, you are most likely going to like Burberry Touch. The violet in Burberry Touch is somewhere in between being a super powdery fragrance and being a slightly petrol fragrance. Petrol like Dior Fahrenheit. It doesn't go all the way into petrol like Dior Fahrenheit. However, it's not as powdery as a lot of people say this fragrance is. It is not as powdery as I thought it was initially going to smell coming in. However, it leans more powdery than petrol, but my opinion is it's somewhere in the middle. It's at that point that you begin to see the pepper notes, no pun intended, begin to pepper throughout the fragrance. It gives the fragrance a sharp, aromatic demeanor. So at this point, you get that violet note, which is waxy, and you get the pepper notes, which gives it this sharp, aromatic edge. That's what you're gonna get throughout the majority of this fragrance. So when it begins to get into the late dry down, that's when the tonka bean, the cedar, and the nutmeg begin to shine through. The fragrance will warm and get it slightly more spicy, and it is dry in the dry down. That's most likely due to the nutmeg and the vetiver. However, you begin to smell the sweetness from the tonka bean and the cedarwood start to peek through, and that's what the fragrance will be dominated by towards the end of this fragrance. Okay, you guys, so I did initially record an initial impressions when I first got this fragrance. However, I decided to scrap it due to the fact that Burberry Touch reminded me of a fragrance that I could not put my nose to. So I wanted to better acclimate myself to the fragrance until I could figure out what that fragrance was that Burberry Touch reminded me of. I came to the conclusion that Burberry Touch reminds me of a lighter, fresher, more aromatic version of gray flannel. Now stick with me here, people. They do share many similar notes. They share citrus notes, they share tonka notes, they share violet notes, and they share cedar notes. So it's more than just a couple notes that both of these fragrances share. It's not my favorite scent profile. However, it is a very pleasant scent profile nonetheless. As it relates to the performance of Burberry Touch, I am inclined to agree with the fragrance community when I say that it is below average. And by below average, I mean I'm getting 2 to 3 hours tops on this fragrance. Just know that during that 2 to 3 hours though, you do get a very pleasant scent bubble, and it will garner you compliments. Initially, when I wore this fragrance, I was told that it smells fresh, it smells clean, and it smells powdery. Burberry Touch does have the demeanor of a fragrance that will garner you compliments. It goes from performing to being almost immediately non-present. So during that 2 to 3 hour mark, you're going to be good to go. It's for that reason that I don't give it high marks in terms of versatility. It's going to be the type of fragrance that I rotate in my out the shower fragrance rotation. Similar to 3 a.m., it smells great, it just doesn't perform. So for that 2 to 3 hour mark, once you get out of the shower at night, I feel like you're going to be good to go there. Due to it having a nutmeg and a tonka bean note, I am inclined to say this fragrance isn't as versatile as one might think. I wouldn't personally wear this fragrance in the dead heat of summer. I would wear this fragrance somewhere in the autumn and fall, and I don't even think it's going to be worn in the winter, as it's not as sharp, it's not as heavy of a fragrance as other fragrances you're going to wear during that time of year. It's for that reason I'm most likely only going to wear it during the fall and autumn when I'm inside in a climate controlled environment. All in all, I give Burberry Touch a 6 out of 10. It is an above average rack store fragrance that I feel will garner you compliments and has a pleasant smelling scent profile that has stood the test of time. This is a fragrance that is 21 years old at this point. I do not think this fragrance is one of those standout fragrances, and I don't have any scent memories or any nostalgia attached with this fragrance. So it's for that reason I cannot give it any higher of a rating. However, I am happy to finally have a Burberry fragrance on my shelf. Shout out to Hazy Fragrances. I was recently talking with him and he let me know that Burberry Touch would be a good go-to. When I told him that the performance wasn't as good as I had hoped, he told me maybe I should look into getting an older batch. So if Burberry Touch is a fragrance that interests you, maybe look at getting an older batch. I don't know how to go about doing that. Just be aware that it's not going to have the performance that you want. If you want more performance, look at the older batches. All right, you guys, so that's Burberry Touch in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy fragrance related content specifically, by all means, you guys, please subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me. I don't take your time for granted. I do encourage you to also click the notification bell, as my very next video will have a giveaway attached to it. I would hate if y'all missed out on the opportunity. I will be giving a Guerlain fragrance away, 10 mils, along with a shower gel. So yes, tune in so you can find out which Guerlain fragrance it is. Till next time, you guys, y'all take care. Stay safe. Bye.